Hocus Pocus 2 provided fans of the first movie with a highly anticipated sequel to the original, and was greeted with great success, with it becoming the biggest domestic success in Disney history. After watching Hocus Pocus 2, we all have two questions. When are we getting Hocus Pocus 3, and what is going to happen in it? Join us as we take a look. Firstly, what will the cast look like? Of course, we'd see the return of Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and Bette Midler as Sarah, Mary, and Winnie Sanderson. Najimy has mentioned that she thinks that the arc of the three sisters is complete, and while she hasn't ruled out the possibility, she doesn't know if a third movie will happen. Parker revealed that Najimy did speak about the possibility of a third movie. Bette Midler said that she couldn't imagine where the story would go for the third movie, but said that she'd love to do it and would sign on for it. She also cited the great relationship she has with her co-stars. Doug Jones's character, Billy Butcher, won't be back, seeing as he returned to the afterlife after Winnie's curse broke. Seeing as there weren't any other deaths, the rest of the cast is a possibility, though we can't say for sure. After that, do we have a potential release date? So, as we regretfully have to inform you fellow Hocus Pocus focusers, there is no confirmed release date for the movie yet. In fact, it hasn't even been announced that there will be a third movie. However, considering the success of the sequel, it is more than likely that it will be announced. Still, even as a best case scenario, there's no way we're getting the movie before Halloween 2024. Be sure to subscribe to stay in the loop for any updates. Now, to guess what could happen in the next movie, we need to revisit the first two. First, we start at the beginning, the Sanderson sisters' first appearance. The first film started on October 31st, 1693. Thackeray Binks is looking for his sister Emily, who has been captured by Sarah Sanderson. This is because the three witches plan to sap her life force from her and use it to become young again. Thackeray sends Elijah to get his father. Meanwhile, he tracks them down to the sisters' cottage. The witches are making the potion they are going to use to drain her life force in order to become younger and more powerful. Thackeray breaks in and tries to stop them, but fails, and his sister gets her life drained from her. The witches become young again and turn Thackeray into a black cat with green eyes. Then, the town mob shows up and captures the witches, putting them up to hang. However, before they die, they cast a spell that would allow a virgin to resurrect the sisters on Halloween night by lighting a black candle flame. Then we have a 300-year time skip. We are then in current-day Salem during Halloween. A teacher is explaining the Sanderson sisters for her class, but Max Dennison objects and says Halloween was created by the candy companies to increase sales. Allison corrects him by saying it's based on All Hallows Eve. Max takes this opportunity to give her his number, but fails at getting her number back. We feel you, Max. Max, understandably sad, also gets bullied on his way back. He is then forced to go trick-or-treating by his sister Danny, so he dresses up as a rapper and goes along. However, the same two bullies are out stealing candy from kids. Danny stands up to them, expecting Max to back her up, but Max is not up for that and gives them their candy. This crushes Danny, who wants to go home. They end up at Allison's place, where she invites them in for cider. Danny tells Allison Max likes her. Again, Max, we're sorry. And Max ends up convincing them to go to the Sanderson sisters museum, provided he dresses up as Peter Pan next Halloween. But unfortunately, Max brings the Sanderson sisters back. Allison gives them a tour of the museum since her mother used to work there. Max discovers the black flame candle and attempts to light it. This is when Thackeray, still a cat, launches at him in an attempt to stop him. Max brushes him off and proceeds to light the candle. This prompts the return of the Sanderson sisters, who are thrilled to be back. They sniff out the children and come to the conclusion that it was Danny that brought them back, and they decide to eat her. Anyways, Max steps in and the ensuing scuffle sees them escape. They make their way to the cemetery, otherwise known as Hallowed Ground, since the witches can't follow them there. They go to the grave of Winnie's former lover, Billy Butcherson, who cheated on her with Sarah. Why did they do this? Plot convenience, obviously. The witches track them down to the cemetery. Thackeray, who can talk, explains to the kids how it's his mission to keep the witches from being resurrected. Would have been nice to know that before he lit the candle, Binks cat. Anyways, he also calls Max an airhead virgin, which is very funny. The witches track them down to the cemetery. Since they can't go into the cemetery, they resurrect Billy Butcherson to chase the kids for them. The kids and Kat are forced to escape through the sewers, with Billy hot in pursuit. The sisters are confused because they can smell children but can't find them, as they mistake the costumes to be real. All we gather from this is that the kids at Salem must be really good at dressing up for Halloween. The sisters see a man dressed as the devil and think he's their master. A series of comic misunderstandings follow, and it eventually leads to the man telling the witches that not only is he their master, but all the monsters they see are actually just children dressed up for Halloween, going around for candy. Then they make their way to the town hall Halloween party. The kids make their way to the town hall, where the Halloween party is being held. There, the kids try desperately to convince the adults that the Sanderson sisters are back and are on the loose, hunting them for their life energy. The adults obviously don't believe them, because no adult in any kids movie is ever useful. Max is determined to make everyone aware of the fact that the Sanderson sisters are back, and that they are all in danger. So he ends up going on stage, taking the mic, and announcing that the Sanderson sisters are back, and that they are all in danger. However, to his dismay, the witches find their way to the party. Winnie gets on stage as Max is announcing that the Sanderson sisters are back, and Winnie, being the cool badass that she is, takes the mic and goes with it, announcing that the real Sanderson sisters are indeed back, and they are here to enchant the crowd with their performance. The crowd cheers, and to the kids' dismay, Billy makes his way to the party. He chases them away while the sisters sing "I Put a Spell on You," cursing the entire crowd to dance until they die. The kids lure the witches to their school, where they attempt to burn them away. To their surprise, they succeed, or so they think. They end up going back home with Allison and Max cuddling. However, as they look for a way to return Binks to his normal form, the witches come back and kidnap Danny and the cat. Next up, dawn approaches. Allison and Max figure out that the witches are trying to capture kids and use their life force in order to repeat what they did to Thackeray's sister all those years ago. However, they discover that the reason that the witches are in such a rush is because they only have until dawn, since the candle only allows them to be alive for that long, and they need to devour the life force of children to stay alive. They set out to stop them, driving through the enchanted people of Salem. They come up with a plan to cover the headlights of their car with rose-coloured film in order to trick the witches into thinking that dawn was already here, buying them time to figure out a way to defeat them. This plan works, as the witches are tricked into thinking dawn has arrived and that they are too late. They crumble to the floor, waiting for the sunlight to take their lives away. This gives the kids enough time to free Danny and Binks. Billy makes it there and manages to break away from their spell, joining the kids and insulting Winnie in a hilarious show of independence and freedom. The witches do their best to capture the kids again, but this time they know what they're up against. Another fight ensues, which sees momentum swing back and forth until the potion that the witches need ends up in Max's hands, and Danny ends up with the witches. The witches ask for the potion, and Max asks for Danny. Max says they need the potion, and the witches proclaim they'll kill Danny if he doesn't give them the potion. With dawn approaching, Max does the only thing he can to save his sister and drinks the potion, sacrificing himself. However, just as the witches try to take his life force, the sun comes out and the witches perish. Unfortunately for us cat lovers, Binks dies as well. However, his soul is freed, and Danny sees him in his human form. Emily, his sister, appears from the forest, and they make their way to the afterlife. "Thackeray Binks, what took thee so long?" Emily asks her brother. "Sorry, Emily," he replies. "I had to wait 300 years for a virgin to light a candle." So, how does Hocus Pocus 2 set up a third movie and our theory? The sisters were resurrected in the second film as a result of Becca lighting the black flame candle in the woods with her friend Izzy. While the candle is destroyed at the end of the film, there is another candle revealed in the post-credits scene. Gilbert's, Richardson's, cat bounds around the shop before stopping in front of a box labelled BF No. 2 candles, implying a second one exists. The twist in this one is that the Sanderson sisters do not die as a result of the curse that causes them to vanish at sunrise on November 1st. Instead, Mary and Sarah are the victims of the very spell that Winnie casts in order to gain complete power. Winnie asks Becca, a new witch, to help her cast a reuniting spell, but instead of bringing Mary and Sarah back, it sends Winnie to wherever they are, presumably some kind of afterlife. It remains to be seen whether another black flame candle can bring them back from the afterlife, but it would certainly diminish the dramatic arc achieved in the sequel, and we must hope that if a third film is greenlit, it will take a completely different direction. It's an unfinished story, So many things could happen next. Peak revealed to EW. If there is a sequel, we could be our coven, much older, but the Sanderson sisters could return, and we'd have to kick their asses all over again. It was shown that the devil was the sisters' master in the first movie, so a movie surrounding the backstory of the witches and how they became the menaces to society that they are could be a great way to go. As it stands, we don't know what the future holds for Hocus Pocus. However, we hope you enjoyed our video, and let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.